Hey, welcome to Off the Wall. I'm your host, Presto the Magnificent, but you can call me Preston. And also joining me is my good friend and friend.
I love how it cut out right when you said Inferno.
Also joining me is my good friend.
It's still cut out.
No, I just didn't say anything.
Oh, okay, now you're just trolling with me. Hi everyone, I'm Inferno.
And today we're talking about 3D Donkey Kong boss battles, a mystery topic. Mega Man is a Smash character and Nintendo's 2025. So join us on this episode of Off the Wall. So before we jump into the show, Inferno, do you want to promote what you do? Because as a Nintendo podcast, I'm sure not very many people who listen have heard of what you do.
Okay, so I make videos about indie animation. Dun dun dun!
Oh.
Okay, no, but I make videos about just indie cartoons, and like I specialize in like things like Digital Circus, Murder Drones, like just smaller content, animated shows on YouTube. Make theories, reviews, stuff like that.
Yeah. Smaller shows that get more views than whatever new Star Wars show Disney is releasing on Disney Plus.
Oh, but you're not wrong.
No, I was literally
love Star Wars, but
I was looking at the Acolyte finale like view numbers versus the Murder Drones finale view numbers, and it was like 3 times as much.
Yeah, I have not been caught. I think the only like Star Wars show I have really seen is Mandalorian, which I like.
It's a good one.
But I like Star Wars. I just haven't seen any of the recent stuff.
That's fair. I think the only shows that you really need to watch, other than the animated stuff, is like Andor. Andor is really good.
Clone Wars is great. Anyway, now this Nintendo content has Nintendo podcast has now been turned into a Star Wars podcast. Anyway,
Off the Wars.
Off the Wars. That's perfect. I love that.
Yeah,
the rebranding no one asked for, but you're getting it anyway.
Congratulations! After 63 episodes of the show, we decided to completely switch gears.
Oh yeah, it was time for a change. Anyway, but yeah.
So we'll link that.
I'm happy to be here.
Your other channel, right?
Cool, Dreamlock, which actually does do gaming, and that did get rebranded. Like actually, officially rebranded. Like I just changed like the profile picture and channel art on it.
Like literally just now.
Last night, actually. So yeah, I'm doing a bit of a rebranding on that channel, but that's gonna have like a lot more gaming related content. Just because like I used to do gaming on my main channel, no one ever watched it. But then when I started talking about like glitch shows like Murder Drones and Digital Circus, people actually had interest in that. And then I was like, oh look, my last episode of Breath of the Wild has like 30 views, but my Murder Drones theory has like 2,000. Okay. Maybe I should just stop doing gaming on this channel. I'll make a second channel instead. So that's what I did.
There you go. That works. Yep. It works. So we'll have links to both channels down in the description below. If any of that sounds interesting to you, go check it out because it's all really good, high quality, entertaining content. So do that.
Yes, do it.
Speaking of do that, there's a little 5-star review button that you can hit on your podcast player of choice to leave us a 5-star review. So you should really just do that. We don't have any good ones today, but you could be shouted out in the next episode, and I'll read it in whatever silly voice you require. Not whatever silly voice. There are some limits.
There are some limits. You have like brain fart. I forgot what I was gonna say. But you have your limits, so that's what matters.
Yeah. Exactly. I can't. I know, sorry.
Sorry if I sometimes feel like I'm just talking nonsense. I worked.
Welcome to the show. We talk nonsense.
Yeah, no, I'm very tired. I've been at work all day, and I was very tired. But yeah, I'm still very happy to be here.
Yeah, and I'm super happy to have you here. Yeah. Also, if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, go check out the YouTube channel because we do like playing games and stuff on there. We also have the link for that in the description, and that is at 117 subscribers. And also go check out the Discord, which is in the description, where we're currently doing this live. And you can come listen to us live and hang out in the chat, or you can just hang out in the Discord. We do like game nights all the time. It's very fun. It's a good time. And with all that housekeeping out of the way, we can move into what we've been up to recently and what we've been playing. You mind if I just ramble on for a little bit about what
Oh
I've been
yeah.
playing recently?
Oh yeah, go for it.
So I got Shadow Generations for Christmas and played through the entirety of Shadow Generations, not Sonic Generations, because I started to boot up that game, played one
Dude,
level, and said no.
I
Um,
have never played Sonic Generations, but I also got it for Christmas and have not played it yet. I am so excited.
okay. So what I would recommend is if you want to actually play through Sonic Generations, play Sonic first and then play Shadow.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Shadow Generations is a step up in every way. Sonic
I,
Generations is like a PS3
yeah,
game.
that is what I've heard, and I'm very excited because I never grew up with a console that had the proper version of Generations. Like I had a 3DS, but I didn't want to play the 3DS
Yeah,
version. I
yeah,
didn't
because that's
at
like
the
the
time. I did not
2D
have an.
version.
I didn't get a PlayStation console that could play it until a few years later. So, um,
And at that point,
yeah,
it's just like, why even bother?
yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah, definitely do both. But do Sonic first. I finished Shadow Generations. I'm not going to say too much because you have to play it.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
just say that it's really hecking good. I really liked it. It was actually, I'm kind of split because I'm not sure if that or the other Sonic game that I played recently was better. I so you remember when Sega was like, by the way, we're going to release an Apple Arcade game, Sonic Dream Team.
Oh my gosh, I just want that on console so bad.
It's worth it. It's worth like
Like
I just got
I
the one
I
month free
don't want to
trial and
get
played through the
I
whole game.
don't want to get Apple Arcade. Like it's a subscription, right?
Yeah, but you can. I what I did is I paid for the month free trial, played through the game, and then just quit immediately. And it was
Dude, I
completely
might
worth
have to
it.
do that. I might have to do that because it looks very good, and I feel like it's one of those games that will come to consoles at some point. It's just a matter of when Sega feels like doing it.
Yeah, pretty much like when they have a break with no Sonic games, so maybe next year, hopefully.
Maybe.
But like I literally just used Bluetooth, connected my Pro controller to my phone, and I was just good.
Yeah. Do you say next year is in 2026 or 2025?
No, this year it's
Okay,
2025.
because I have been getting so confused. You are not alone, my friend. I have like literally it got to a point where like I am still trying to remember to write 2020 when I'm like writing dates and such. I try to remember to write 2025 and not 2024, and then I have to scribble it out with
Seriously.
my pen, and I'm like, dang it.
No, there was one day a few weeks ago where I was like writing down the date. This was in 2024. I was writing down the date and I was like, "Oh yeah, 12, 15, 22." No, it's not 2022. What do you mean?
Okay, that's a little behind. 2 years, in fact.
I literally wrote down 22 like
Yeah.
it feels like it's still 2022. It's been a fast couple years.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Anyway, your next game. I've
1000X Resist. It's like if you took Nier Automata, removed all the combat and just left the story, and it has a really, really good story. I've only played
yeah.
through the first chapter, and it's quite good. It's like an indie
What
game.
is it on all
Yes, on Switch.
consoles?
It's on
Oh,
Switch. It's on Xbox. It's on PlayStation.
I might have to check that out. I've never heard of it, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's well known now in the indie game scene, but if you're not in the indie game scene, you probably never heard of it.
Yeah, I
This
need
is
to
one
get
of those
more into
games.
indies. I am also guilty of never having played Undertale or Deltarune. So,
Fun fact: I played all of Deltarune and seen multiple playthroughs of Undertale, and I own Undertale, but I've never played Undertale.
what, do you own it on Switch?
Yeah,
Yeah, I need to really pick it up at some point and actually see what all the fuss is about, especially because this is I believe the 10-year anniversary of Undertale.
that's crazy.
I know time flies. I remember being in high school. Ugh. I remember when like several kids at my school were playing it like crazy.
Yeah, still past people with their Undertale hoodies.
Oh yeah.
That feels like I feel like Digital Circus is the Undertale of the 2023.
Oh,
Like,
100%. In fact, I'd argue that the way, and this is not to, I don't like competition between like anything. It's not a competition of which is more
yeah,
popular. It's all good content. But I'm more saying like I feel like the way Digital Circus blew up compared to Undertale is just a very different type of phenomenon. Like Digital Circus just blew everything up. Like in Undertale surely did that, but like I feel like
yeah.
it, at the time that Undertale released, even just 10 years ago, the internet was a very different place. And so I feel like with Digital Circus, it got just so much more attention because of the internet landscape that we're currently in.
I agree completely. And I'm wondering like what would have happened because it's also like a big difference from when the Murder Drones pilot released and then when the Digital Circus pilot released. Like if they had swapped places, I don't think Digital Circus would have had that giant blow up that it did
Oh,
just
I
because of
agree.
when it
I
was
agree as
released.
well. And it also helps that Glitch hires voice actors for like a dozen different languages. So this
Exactly. So it's like
show
literally
is
everybody can be a fan.
yeah, like I didn't realize until like a couple months ago how big Glitch is in Japan.
No, it's huge. Like
It is
they,
huge in Japan.
they
Like
made a
the
whole
pop-up shops,
cafe.
cafe, yeah. Like I remember even like at one of the Digital Circus stores in Japan, they had like a whole Murder Drones promotion when the finale came out. Like Japan loves their Glitch apparently, which, for good reason.
Good for Japan. I'm glad. I'm very happy for Japan.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Japan, this is a Nintendo podcast.
Yes, this is a Nintendo podcast, which I see you've also been playing a few games that are a bit older but still very good games.
Yeah, there basically is just me like I want to play this game because I really like this game and want to go back into it. So I was playing like I played Odyssey two player and had one of my friends try to like mess me up playing as Cappy while I was speedrunning. I played Mario
Oh
Kart and beat
yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
I played Kirby and the Forgotten Land because I wanted to play Kirby and the Forgotten Land
yeah.
again.
I purchased Kirby and the Forgotten Land as for like I think it was a Target Black Friday deal. So I got it for like half off, and that's like one of the games I'll probably pop in pretty soon here. Like I've heard great things about it, and
Yeah,
Odyssey and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, of course, are just fantastic games in their own right.
impeccable. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
agreed.
like 2017 will still go down as one of like Nintendo's best years ever.
Yeah, Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart
Mario
8
Kart,
Deluxe, Splatoon
Splatoon
2.
2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I don't know if
That's
you're a
right.
Xenoblade fan. I'm a big Xenoblade fan. I have not played all the games. I'm currently playing through Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at the moment, but if you love deep emotional stories, especially, and it's a very dark series for
Yeah,
Nintendo standards, like
yeah.
it goes places. So if you haven't played
I'm
Xenoblade,
like
go do it.
halfway through the first game currently,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm feeling it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh, as Ryan would say, I'm really
I'm
feeling
really
it.
feeling it.
Okay.
Yeah. What have you been playing other than Xenoblade Chronicles 2, apparently?
Yeah, man, I stole the spotlight there for a moment. My apologies. Yeah, I've been playing
No, you're good.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm like halfway, maybe a little more than halfway through that. Great game. Horrible voice acting, at least the American dub. I know there are hardcore defenders of the voice acting in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but my goodness, there is just I don't know. I feel like too far in the game now to go to
To switch to
Japanese voice
Japanese.
actings. Like I'm just gonna stick it through there. But I heard the voice acting in 3 and Xenoblade Chronicles X is a lot better. So I'm just like everything else besides the gotcha mechanic in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm loving. So and
Yeah.
it's funny because I've actually owned Xenoblade Chronicles 2 since the year it came out, 2017. And
Dang. You're just now
I
getting to it.
well, I played through a good chunk of it, like at the first 3 to 4 chapters when it came out, but I just dropped it. And then after the remaster of the first game came out, I got back into Xenoblade. And in fact, I actually streamed it on my main channel back then,
Oh,
like when I was still doing gaming content. Like, I actually streamed not the entire game, but like, after finishing Definitive Edition, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm actually gonna play 2. So that's what I'm currently doing. Besides that, I just finished Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which I'm a huge Donkey Kong fan, and we'll actually be talking about a 3D Donkey Kong here soon. But I am very ashamed to admit that Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is the only game in the Country series I have never finished up until now.
hey,
And
that's more. I think that's the only game in the Country series that I haven't finished. So
okay, at least that makes me feel a little less guilty. I'm glad. But yeah, like I'm a big like Donkey Kong Country 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Like without a doubt.
respect.
But going to like when Tropical Freeze came out, I bought it like the month it came out, like back in 2014. Got really close to the end, dropped it, and then by the time I was interested in playing it again, the Switch version was already out, or was about to come out. So I got the Switch version the day it came out and finished it, dropped it again, got sidetracked. Like just the life of a person with ADHD. Got
For real.
um.
As a
So
person who's going through 8 different games and has been playing Xenoblade Chronicles DE since like the end of 2023,
oh
I
yeah,
understand.
oh yeah. It the struggle is real, but you know I finally finished it earlier this month, like maybe a week or so ago. So that's fun, and I also recently got back to Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake, which is also very good.
Yeah, I
Uh,
beat that earlier this or last year. I
yeah,
beat that last year.
those are really the only games on Switch, and this is a Nintendo podcast, so I won't really go into what I've been playing on PlayStation too much.
Yeah,
But I've been playing also God of War Ragnarok, and I'm
nice.
playing. I'm almost done with Astrobot, which I guess is Nintendo-esque. So
Yeah,
and
I recently got the game and I've only played the first world and I need to
so
get
good.
back to it as soon as
It's
possible. It's so
it's
good.
so good. The haptics in the controller are just so good.
It's so
And
it looks so clean. That's the main reason I'm excited for Switch 2 is I want to see how clean like
oh
Mario
yeah.
will look.
Oh yeah, and I'm so excited to get to the Switch 2 talk towards the end
Yeah,
of the
Nintendo
podcast because
2025.
that's like the big elephant in the room right now. But you know, besides those games and a couple on PlayStation, haven't been playing too much. I mean, that sounds like a lot, but like those are
Right.
really the only games I'm trying to dedicate my time to. But you know, I am trying to get in the habit of buying less games and just playing through the games I already own,
Same.
which
Same
I did a
here.
really good job with that, but I feel like I'm going to do a horrible job with that once the Switch 2 comes out because I'm going to try and get that day one.
Get all
So,
of the games day one,
I don't know
and then
about
you're probably gonna be like,
at the very least I'll pick up the first party offerings. And if there's like a third party game like exclusive or something that would benefit from a Switch 2 version, I'll probably pick up. But
yeah.
I want
That's
my
what I meant.
wallet
Like
to
all the
not
first
scream.
party games were day one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I don't want my wallet to scream too much, just enough.
But you could pick up the Switch 2 equivalent of Room in the Night Sky, an incredible launch title.
Room in the Night Sky. What? What?
It's one of the Switch's launch titles was
Oh wait, I
like a
remember
really
that.
bad indie game.
Oh my
It was
gosh,
just
you just unlocked a core memory. It was an eShop title. I
that's
remember
right.
that. I
Yeah, it
remember.
was just Superman 64, but with brooms.
Oh my gosh, you just unlocked a core memory. I remember watching like someone play it back when the Switch launched, and I remember thinking to myself, who in their right mind designed this game?
I don't think anybody in their right mind designed the game.
It was AI generated before AI generated actually became a thing.
Yeah, that was the first ChatGPT test run.
Oh yeah. We just didn't know it at the time.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah, everyone who bought the game on Switch day one has now just indirectly signed their life away to the AI gods. So just so you know.
If you own a copy of Room in the Night Sky, you're going to probably Room in the Night die.
I like that. I like that very much.
That was a terrible pun.
But you know what? Some say that the worst puns are the best puns. So
That's true. It's not the same for games, which is why Room in the Night Sky shouldn't exist.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Speaking of games that should exist, this is not a shouldn't exist. We got a new trailer. We're moving on to the Waluigi news segment. We got a new Xenoblade trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles X. It very much like fleshes out like the story and shows off some more of the gameplay, and the game looks good.
Oh yeah. I'm very glad that because I did play a little bit of Xenoblade of the original Xenoblade Chronicles X when it came out. I got it for Christmas that year, and this was in my phase of really trying to get into RPGs. I was trying so hard as like a 15-year-old. Like I'm 24 now, and back like 10 years ago, I tried so hard and I just couldn't get into RPGs for some reason. Unless you count like Pokemon, which even
Yeah,
then Pokemon is like I even then I couldn't I'm in. I'm just gonna have another hot take.
Pokemon was always too boring
I've
for me.
never finished a Pokemon game. I've gotten so close to several of them, and I've never finished one. So that's another one of my goals for this year. But Xenoblade Chronicles X looks great. I'm glad they fixed some of the HUD and the UI because, and I'm hoping they also fix the tutorial because, like, I get it's an RPG and maybe I was just a stupid 15-year-old, but that's the one thing that actually caused me to drop the game was
Because it was
the
just a
long tutorial. But then again, I also Twilight Princess is one of my favorite games of all time, and that game also has a very large tutorial.
That's true. I never got through the tutorial.
Oh wow! Like it's like I guess the same could be said with like a good chunk of RPGs these days. But once you're past the tutorial, the games really start to pick up. Like I think Persona 5 is really the game that got me into RPGs in the way that I am now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which I
I've
feel
heard
like
a lot of really good things about
yeah,
that game.
I feel like Persona 5 is a good quote unquote gateway drug to RPGs or JRPGs rather.
It's just
Any
like a
RPGs really.
100-hour long gateway drug.
Closer to 200 hours. Well, I guess it really depends on how you play it. Like
That's fair.
so one person's playthrough could be like 120 hours. My first playthrough was like almost 160.
Yeah,
So,
dang. That's impressive.
but yeah.
I don't had that time to commit to a game. That's my like one problem is I want to play everything, but I don't have enough time to play anything
Oh
like
yeah. I like
through.
I on top of having an actual job outside of YouTube and then YouTube, it's hard to really find time, but I think honestly after this podcast, I might sit down and play a game for once.
Yeah,
It's been
video
like
game.
the I mean the last game I played was Thousand Year Door just a few days ago, but I really want to dedicate some more time to gaming this year.
Yeah, me too. As somebody who has spent way too much time uh going frame by frame over murder drones, I should probably do that as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We all need a break.
Yeah.
But aside from Xenoblade, the Switch 2 might be announced soon. By time you guys are actually
Yeah.
listening to this, which is just crazy to think about.
It might be. Or they could wait until March 31st at 11:59
I
p.m.
swear, do not
Hawaiian
jinx
time.
it. Do not jinx it. I know what hell looks like, and it's the Nintendo Switch 2 weight.
I know what the
Dude,
Nintendo Switch 2 looks
it's
like.
it's so funny, and I'll save most of my like our talk about Switch 2 for the 2025 segment. But like
Yeah.
I find it so funny that realistically this is a much shorter wait for like from the time that Nintendo formally announced the Switch successor, as they're calling it. We all know it's called the Switch 2.
Yeah.
But you know, uh
It's not
you
like
know,
the logo leaked or anything.
yeah, totally not. Next handheld, who's that? All the leaks don't matter. But no, like it's funny because Nintendo only like formally announced that they were working on a new console back in May of last year. That was the first time they ever spoke about it. Up until that point, it was just industry rumors and whispers.
Yeah.
But
But those industry rumors and whispers have lasted for the last 5 years.
yeah, no kidding. Like I lived through the Switch Pro days. But like realistically though, from the time that Nintendo formally announced it, which I still find it weird that there wasn't a codename given, which they usually do, to like the actual reveal of the console is still a shorter wait than the wait from the NX to the actual Switch reveal. Because the NX, as its codename, was revealed in March of 2015.
Dang. I didn't realize
And
that
the
early.
actual console wasn't revealed until October of 2016. So technically, we were waiting a lot longer back then than we are
I'm
now.
sure Nintendo felt like they had to announce it earlier because they're like,
Yeah.
we have a new system, guys. I promise. The Wii U is not our
But yeah, I was actually going to say that's probably why it was announced the way it was, because the Wii U, to be frank, almost sunk Nintendo completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not be shocked if the Switch failed. I would not be shocked if they went third party, like went the route of Sega. But I'm glad they
Yeah.
didn't, because I love Nintendo so much.
Seriously. I
um,
cannot imagine playing a Nintendo game on like the PlayStation 5.
yeah, but then again, a lot of people didn't think they'd ever be playing Sonic on Nintendo, and that
That's
happened.
true. That's
But
true. And
luckily,
now it's like
Nintendo,
second nature.
yeah, luckily Nintendo's in a much better position now than they
For
were
sure.
10 years ago.
Like
But
even if the console doesn't sell very well, they have their movies and their
oh yeah,
museum and
yeah,
perks and
they're
everything.
growing out of just becoming a video game company and becoming an entertainment company, which is pretty cool to see.
Agreed.
But to kind of go back to what I was saying to finish that off, even though we've been waiting less time between the first official tease of the console to the reveal, it still feels like a lot longer of a wait because of the rumors. I feel like the rumors for Switch 2, like, and keep in mind, there were some wacky rumors for the NX before that was revealed. But I feel like the Switch 2 rumors just got too much to the point where it was just annoying. Like, I was sick of
Yeah.
waking up and seeing another Switch 2 rumor. It was honestly making me less excited for the console. And don't worry, that excitement is back. The fact that we are very close to a reveal. Hopefully. I'm confident that, like, I know I might bite myself in the I might bite myself in the butt here, but I'm gonna place down tomorrow morning. We're gonna wake up and we're gonna see that tweet. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. for your first look at the Nintendo Switch successor. Mark my words.
Yeah. I would believe that if Donkey Kong Country Returns wasn't coming out on Thursday.
And here's the thing, though. I've seen people think about that. The Switch was announced on the same day a Mario Party game came out.
Oh, but it was probably. Oh yeah, no, that's probably like it was a 3DS one, right? So that's
It
probably
was,
about,
yeah,
it's
but
like probably about the same importance
yeah,
as
that's true. But
remaster of a Wii game.
it is a remaster of a 15-year-old game, and everyone, including Pioro, who has never really gotten anything wrong, is hinting at it. So I'd love it to be
Yeah.
this week. I really don't want. I just want the rumors to end. That is all.
Yeah.
To be
Please just
frank,
let the rumors end.
I could. right now, as excited as I am for the console, I'm more excited to just not hear hardware rumors anymore and leaked pictures. Because that means
Agreed.
we can finally see games, and
I'm
that's
so excited. Like that.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it
We'll
later.
save
But the
that
fact is,
for the
that's
very
so
for
exciting.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We can move on. We're gonna do some quick fire community questions, one sentence or less answers, because there's a bunch of them. For our first question is from Purple Riolu. What would be your dream game to release this year that probably wouldn't happen?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Ooh.
Yeah.
Um. You know what? Um. It sucks because the one game I was gonna choose is actually the second question.
Noted.
So you know what? That's my answer for that is Silk Song.
So
I'm
strong. Good
sorry.
answer.
I guess answers the second question too, but you can ask it anyway.
Uh, my answer for dream game that would release this year that would never happen. Chapters 3 through 9 of Deltarune, all of them, 1 year.
That's
Bring it on.
you're right there. You're right there because even
It
though I
would
haven't
never
played
happen.
Deltarune, even though I haven't played Deltarune, the fact that it took us so long to even get Chapter 2, it ain't happening for a
Yeah,
while.
we're getting 3 and 4 this year. Like he's
Okay.
confirmed the 3 and 4 this year, but
Okay.
that's why I'm like 3 through 9, not gonna happen. But dreams.
Yeah.
Next question is from Maddie Beth. Will we get Hollow Knight Silksong this year?
Oh, I already answered that. My apologies.
So you
I
think
want
no?
to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I have not finished Hollow Knight. I ha- have played like halfway through it. I love it from what I have played. I really would like to Silk Song to just be a real game. Like like it doesn't feel it feels like vaporware at this point. Like it just that thing
Seriously.
refuses to come out. And I really want to believe it comes out this year. Like we had like I think last year an ESRB rating for the game
Yeah,
or I don't know if it was ESRB. It might have been like an Asian country like I forgot if it was like
yeah,
Korean or whatever, but there was a rating for it. So maybe it had planned to release last year and it just never happened, which
it's
it's
possible.
it's funny because during one of Xbox's E3, I think this is like right when it was like after E3 was canceled. I think it was still like Xbox's like summer showcase. And I think it was either their 2022 show or their 2023 show where they had a trailer for Silk Song. And basically they said every game that Microsoft announced would be released within the next 12 months.
I remember that. I remember that.
And
Wrong.
that did not happen, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
just
I don't.
I'm ready to be disappointed.
Yeah. I think there's a chance, but I don't think the chance is very high, so I'm gonna go no.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe this alleged Switch 2 presentation that we probably get like after the console reveal. Like I'm assuming there will be like a bigger presentation after. Who knows?
Like
Maybe it'll be there.
February. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Possible.
yeah.
Possible.
Um
Speaking of
yeah.
Switch 2, next one is from Jack Pack. Is the hype for Switch 2, in your opinion, valid?
Yes. In the sense that as much as I love the Switch, and don't get me wrong, the Switch is one of it might even be my favorite console of all time.
It's just
Uh,
7 years old.
it's just 8
8 years
now.
old. Yeah.
8 in March it'll be 8 years old.
Yeah, that's wild.
And the fact that it was outdated when it came out, and sure, yeah, the Switch 2 isn't going to be like a PS5 level, but like from what we're hearing, it's going to be closer to Series S. Like maybe it
And
won't hit it
PS4, yeah.
exactly, but like on top of that, if Nintendo uses some fancy AI upscaling like DLSS to fix textures and whatnot, like I'm sure Nintendo could make their games look a lot better. And Nintendo is also the kings of art style. So I'm sure art
Yeah,
styles will go a long way in making games look as
agreed.
good as they can. So yeah, personally, I think it's valid.
I agree. And I think it's valid for the console a little bit, but mostly for the games that the console can produce.
Oh yeah.
That's my thoughts. Next question is from Maddie Beth. What Zelda game will we get this year? Link's Crossbow Training 2.
Oh man, you took the words right out of my mouth. Personally, like, so this is a weird one. I know you said one sentence or less, but yeah, I'll just go. I'll just say it like Wind Waker HD. I'm gonna say it.
That makes
I
sense. I can see that.
but to be fair, it feels like Nintendo has been teasing us with this game for far too long. Like, Breath or Tears of the Kingdom was originally supposed to come out in 2022, and that didn't happen. It got delayed to 2023.
Yeah.
So 2022 was the first year in over a decade without a new Zelda release. Like, usually Nintendo is pretty good about having something Zelda related every single year. And that didn't
Hmm.
happen in 2022. I feel like that would have been the perfect time to release that, and it still hasn't happened yet. So I
Yeah, they're
feel
just holding
like
on to them.
it has to be happening. Like, it is one of the most requested Wii U ports, and it's one of the few Wii U ports left that people really care about. And I know people are gonna want Twilight Princess 2. Twilight Princess, I love Twilight Princess as much as the next guy, but I feel like either the HD version will be sold separately at a later date, or in the
Yeah.
future Nintendo would want to remake that game completely
Ooh,
from
that'd
the
be good.
ground up. So that's my
I wonder
stance
if
on
we
that.
get. Wonder if they call it Wind Waker HD or Wind Waker 4K.
I don't think I'd like honestly, I can see them positioning it as like a Switch One release. Cause like I feel like that game should easily run on Switch One. Like, yeah, maybe there'll be like an upgrade or enhancements for the Switch 2 version, hopefully. But
Yeah,
I
that makes
feel like
sense.
that's a game that all Switch owners should be able to play.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Next question is from the news guy, aka Monkey Thunder. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if woodchuck could chuck wood? I would say that a wood
Uh,
could chuck about as much wood as a woodchuck could chuck, if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
I
What
have
do
the
you
same
think?
answer. Like I would have to go with how like they probably could chop as much wood as a woodchuck could chuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes too
exactly.
much sense.
Makes far too much sense. Okay.
From the Xenospark, what is your way too early 2025 game of the year?
So, yeah, I was gonna say like we're 14 days in, so I was like, no games have really released like that are noteworthy. Like we have Donkey Kong on Thursday, but in
Yeah.
terms of
I
like,
think he's
I'm,
saying
I'm
like
assuming
if we had to
like
choose
in
one game
general,
that we think
yeah,
would be our game
like
of the
it's
year
pro
once it comes
so
out.
yeah, so just any game. That's a tough one. Gosh, I need to look at a list of what games are coming out this year. Hold on, 1 second.
The other question, does it have to be a game that we know is coming out, or could I just say something that I think is going to come out? Because if so, whether it's a new Mario Kart or a new Mario, like a th new 3D Mario, one of those two is coming out, and whichever one it is will be my game of the year.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, you know, in terms of games that are currently announced, because I agree with you. If a new 3D Mario or Mario Kart comes out in 2025, then that will probably be one of my games of the year. But in terms of like Nintendo games, which we really only have two other contenders, like I'm sure this doesn't have to only apply to Nintendo, but like for me, it would probably be Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 will be up there too.
Especially if
For
we
sure.
get Switch 2 enhancements with it.
If Legends Zeta A is like a better version of Legends Arceus, I could also see that being my game of the year because I loved Legends Arceus when it came out.
Oh, I've heard great things about Arceus.
It's like a Pokemon if the battle system wasn't boring.
Yeah, I've heard people compare it to like a Pokemon Monster Hunter type thing. Not
It's a
quite, but
very,
like
yeah, it would be a very simplified version of Monster Hunter.
yeah, but more so you go into different zones and like it's kind of like it's not like fully open world, but it's like open like large areas.
Yeah, and you get to go just catch Pokemon and
Yeah.
chill and have fun. It's a good game.
Yeah.
I like that game a lot. Yeah, so Metroid Prime 4 is your answer.
Yep.
All right. Next question is also from the news guy. Which games do you think Microsoft will bring to other consoles first? Like, I
Ooh.
think he means like which Microsoft games would come to like Switch and I
Oh
guess
yeah.
the Switch as well.
So, this is one that I've been saying. I know there's the rumors of Halo: The Master Chief Collection coming to Switch, which I think would be incredible. Like
that would be so good.
That'd be incredible. I have the Master Chief Collection on Steam. I still have not played any of the games in it though because like I just too many games, and plus I bought it like on a Steam sale for like a few bucks. So but besides that, like honestly the game I would love to see from Microsoft come to Switch, well, it wouldn't be on normal Switch, it would be on Switch 2, is Sea of Thieves. For one reason only. That would be the first time in years that Rare has put a game on a Nintendo console with not counting NSO, like not counting Nintendo Switch Online, because obviously Microsoft bought Rare back in 2001, 2002, and they made games for the Xbox. Either every game they were working on for the GameCube or Game Boy Advance either got reworked or canceled or released on Xbox. And see, like, there were a few games from Rare on after the Microsoft acquisition on like Game Boy and DS, but I'm pretty sure that was just because Microsoft didn't have a handheld, so they're like, okay, go for it, do what you want. But in this day and age, I would love to see like a proper new Rare game on Nintendo, and Sea of Thieves would probably be my pick because that'd give me an excuse to actually play it.
That's a great choice. That is legitimately a very good choice.
Yes. Sorry, I'm turning these. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was gonna say that I thought you were gonna say like, okay, Sea of Thieves on Nintendo gives them the perfect opportunity to put a Nintendo exclusive character on there, and then we can make King K. Rool playable.
Oh man. Okay. You know what? I'm changing it now to that. Do that. I want King K. Rool in it. Come on now. Get on it, Rare.
Come on. Like a pirate raid that you can do. You can just raid the Kremlings.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying before. I love brain farts. Awesome.
Just welcome to the show.
Yep.
We were just a brain fart the podcast. Xbox game. Yeah, I would have also said Halo: The Master Chief Collection because that just makes sense to me. A cool one. Skyrim. Not Skyrim.
Yeah, I was like, I keep forgetting that Bethesda is now Microsoft.
Yeah.
Which I feel like Oh, go ahead.
No, keep going.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I feel like Bethesda, of all like the Microsoft companies, they're gonna put their games on other consoles. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't even be surprised if
Starfield is probably coming to Switch too.
That and PS5, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, Starfield, maybe it would probably be definitely downgraded, but they could probably get Starfield on Switch 2 if they tried hard enough. I mean, hell, I didn't think the Switch 1 could handle Doom 2016 or The Witcher 3.
Or like Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, which, Outer Worlds on Switch doesn't look the prettiest, but you know what? It's playable. It runs.
It's better than walking like some ports.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's all of our questions.
Cool.
Do you want to do the best and worst, or we can skip it for time? It depends on what you want to do. I'm good with either.
We could do it. Like, honestly, it probably won't be a super long segment because Nintendo's 2024. Although they did have several games released, I only ever played like a couple games from Nintendo in 2024 because it was still a pretty light year for Nintendo.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, they're in the middle of a transition to a new console. So
like, we had Echoes of Wisdom, we had Brothership.
Yeah, which Echoes of Wisdom is peak.
Yeah, it's got to be the best game of last year.
Have you finished Echoes of Wisdom?
Yeah, I beat it.
Okay. Like, I didn't 100% it, but I got pretty damn close. Like, I got, like, all heart containers and everything. Like, it's a great game. It really feels like they kind of blended classic Zelda with the modern style, and I love that.
Yeah.
It gives... Yeah.
I've heard people call it, like, Breath of the Past. because it's like Breath of the
I've
Wild with
surprisingly never heard people call that, but I like that because really, like, the dungeons feel like Link to the Past, Link's Awakening,
Link Between Worlds.
Link Between Worlds. Like, yeah, they're not as in depth as, in my opinion. Like, I think I like the dungeons better in, A Link Between Worlds. But
Yeah, that's my favorite 2D Zelda game.
But yeah, but Echoes of Wisdom was still a great game. It really, like, I love one thing I will say about what Aonuma is trying to do with like the open-ended design of modern Zelda is I do like how they make you use your brain a lot more. Like they're filled to the brim with brain teasers, like, and
For
puzzles.
sure.
And not everyone will like that. Like my friend Jaden will not get back to Tears of the Kingdom because he in his words thinks he's too dumb to play it, which I'm just like, no. Literally, you're not. I struggled with several of the shrines in Breath of the Wild. And I just looked up a YouTube video on it.
Yeah, that's what I do whenever I'm stuck on a puzzle. I'm like, I don't know what to do here.
Like, see, I won't. I'm not like the type of person where I try like once, can't figure it out, and look up a YouTube tutorial. I will try everything my brain can think of until I run out of ideas.
Exactly. It's like I legitimately have no idea what to do here. I think the only game where I've had to do that like more than twice is when I played through Portal 2. Because Portal 2 broke me.
That's another game I have to play, the Portal games.
They're very good. Highly recommend.
But besides,
not very good. Highly recommend. What's the worst game?
One more thing though. Before we go to the worst games, I was gonna say besides Echoes of Wisdom, the only like other big Switch game that I played in 2024, which I still haven't finished, is Thousand Year Door. So that's probably one of the better games.
Yeah.
That Nintendo releases here, but yeah, worst.
I love that game.
I have not played any of the games Nintendo has released that are subpar. I was smart and got the ones that I knew were going to be good. But
same here.
Based on like the feedback from the internet, I am probably going to say it's either between Endless Ocean Luminous or Princess Peach Showtime. Not to say either are both like horrendous games. Like they're still both playable.
They're both fine.
But like
I know people who spent like 30 hours just roaming around in Endless Ocean and like having a good time with it.
Yeah,
I beat Princess Peach Showtime.
Did you?
I wish that I didn't. No offense. The game is good. It's great for people who are like small children and just learning how to play games.
But for a grown adult, you're just like, I feel like I could be playing something a little bit better than this, but
yeah, I beat the first boss without taking the final boss without taking a single hit of damage.
Oh god, oh god. But yeah, like it feels like for Good Feel because they're the ones who developed the game. It feels like in terms of Good Feel quality, it just wasn't there compared to something like Yoshi's Woolly World and hell, even Crafted World to an extent. Like,
yeah. Even Crafted World is also way too easy.
Yeah, it felt a little uninspired as well.
Yeah,
and I remember when Nintendo announced Crafted World at E3 2017, and I remember where they made it seem like the flipping mechanic was like an integral part of the gameplay, like you would be doing it throughout each level, when in reality it was only something you did after beating a level, and is like, why bother
it and do the same thing to get more
just to find the Poochie Pups or whatever, like no thank you. That game was a slog to get through, but
both of those are like probably solid 5s out of 10s. I think that the worst game that Nintendo has released this year, also shout out to Mario vs. Donkey Kong, because while that is a remake of a GBA game, it's a very good remake and the music is a jam.
I've heard. I've heard. If it wasn't $50, I would have picked it up.
Same. And yeah, I think the worst one that I've heard of, I haven't actually played it, is, did you remember that they released another Code Recollection in January of last year?
I do. I was thinking about talking about that, but was it actually like poorly received? Because I feel like people that were
Yes.
fans of the was it? Huh.
From what I remember, yeah, I
Okay.
can check the
I
reviews, but
I feel
everything
like
like
it's just one of those games that didn't age very well, and maybe hardcore fans of the original will like it, but you know, because
it's not that it's the problem is that it's not a very faithful version of the original, from what I've heard,
oh, is
and
it
that
not?
like yeah, like they cut a bunch of content from the second game and it's like completely changed because it's 3D. All the puzzles are changed as well from the original, so it's pretty
Uh
much just its own game with the same story.
so basically, Final Fantasy VII remake, but done poorly.
Yeah, but done bad.
Yep,
The game itself
that's fair.
doesn't look very good or just have a lot of quality
Yeah,
in general.
but I will give it credit where credit is due. It is nice to see Nintendo like take older IP and do something like I never thought we'd get like a brand new Famicom Detective Club,
Right? Yeah, like we
which is
got
a
a new
game we
Famicom
forgot to
Detective Club, we
mention,
got a
but
new
I
Endless Ocean.
I
We
I
got the
heard that MEO is actually very very good.
yeah, from what I've heard it's really good, especially for fans of the series.
Oh yeah,
Just not my type of game. Yeah, that was a wild. Yes. I think those are some good shout outs.
yeah,
You want to move on to our first rotating segment of
sounds
the episode?
good.
So if you're new to the show, which Inferno is,
Yeah, I'm a newbie.
every episode we have two different segments that rotate out from a list of like 20 different segments. And these can be anything from designing a type of food to like reading something like narrating your own game announcement like you're in a direct to like reading a script from a movie but voicing it as a bunch of Nintendo characters
Oh,
to
oh
literally rapping
God.
about video games.
I'm
Like
horrible
there's
at this type of stuff. I'm horrible at coming up with stuff off the top of my head, so we'll see how this goes.
yeah, that's
Sorry
actually
if there's a long pause of me trying to think of something.
no, that's good. I have definitely thought about things for sure. Speaking of thinking about things, let's move on to our first rotating segment, which is Boss Battles Incorporated. Welcome to Boss Battles Incorporated. Today we're designing a boss battle for a 3D Donkey Kong. Your submissions are due by the end of this segment. I don't know what time that will be, but then. I don't know why I did that voice.
It
So we're
works. It
designing it.
works.
It
You can
works.
pull it
We're
off.
doing a boss battle for a 3D Donkey Kong, and I'll give you some time to think and just go with the first thing that comes to my head. So, what if you take a what's an animal? Elephant. Let's take an elephant. Because that'd be funny, and it can be an arena with a bunch of different vines surrounding it, like a 3D circular arena. And what you have to do is you have to climb up to the vines, swing from vine to vine until you can get to the top of the elephant's back and like hammer like what's like the move that he does in Returns when you shake the remote and he like hammers the ground.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah, you do that on his back, and then he like gets changed his color, gets mad, and you're sent back to the vines, and you just swing on the vines a little bit more.
yeah.
That's my ideas.
Okay.
Find an elephant
I
using.
have two ideas if that's okay.
All right, all right.
Okay.
Shoot.
So, I'm a big fan of the Mario movie.
Of
I
course.
would like. What if Mario is one of the villains, and you have to actually
Oh,
fight Mario?
oh,
Instead of Mario versus Donkey Kong, it's Donkey Kong versus Mario Reloaded.
reloaded.
That
New
implies
funky
that it's like
mode.
a remake or something, but no.
Yeah.
No. I think that would be cool if like you actually played as Donkey Kong and you had to like fight Mario. I think that would be pretty cool. Another idea I had was like, what if your animal buddies went on a rampage and you had to fight your animal buddies, or like they got
Oh
like
yeah.
possessed or something, right? Like, let's say like Rambi gets possessed and he like turns into like a giant version of himself, and you have like go around an arena trying to like hit switches or trying to like knock him down or something, and you get
Yeah.
on him
I
and beat the crap out of whatever is possessing him.
That'd just be a
I
great plot hook for a 3D Donkey Kong Country game specifically. It's
yeah.
like you could just start the game with all of your animal buddies have been taken over, and then all the
Oh,
different boss fights in the different
that
worlds are your
I
animal buddies.
actually like that idea. It's kind of like how that would actually make sense too, because in Donkey Kong 64, you started out with only Donkey Kong, or was it Donkey? No, it was Diddy. You started out. Was it Donkey? I forgot. No, you started out
I haven't played that
Donkey.
game.
Okay, I think you started as Donkey. I'm thinking of Super Mario 64 DS, how you start that game as Yoshi.
Yoshi, yeah.
But in Donkey Kong 64, you start out as DK, and you have to go around to like your friends have been kidnapped, so you have to go around and save Dixie or Diddy, Tiny, Cranky, or not Cranky, Lanky, all of them,
Yeah.
and Chunky, who is apparently dead.
Rip in peace.
I
Will be missed.
love how I actually know where the Chunky's dead meme came from.
Yeah, it's from the Silva Gunner video,
Oh,
right?
actually, no.
No? It was just in that?
It's from Brental Floss. I don't know if you remember
Oh
the
no, it is
YouTuber Brental.
Brental Floss. No, you're right, you're
He
right.
did
I
a
was confusing them
25
there.
years later for Donkey Kong
That's right.
64.
For some reason I thought that was Silva Gunner.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm sure Silva Gunner did his take on that. Silva Gunner is peak.
Yeah. I've
Uh,
seen the Brental Floss version.
yeah. But yeah, that's my idea for a 3D Donkey Kong boss battle.
Yeah, that's awesome. Finding the animal buddies or fighting Mario, like both of those are very like meta almost, but just really
A
cool
little
ideas that I
bit,
could see
a
my
little
head
bit.
enjoying.
Getting a little meta with it.
That's perfect. That's fun. Speaking of getting meta with it, our next segment is Mystery Madness. So this segment comes around once every little while, and we have a channel in our Discord, which you can join in the description below, where we have everybody in our Discord suggest mystery segments that are spoiler tagged. So I don't know what segment we're getting into until I click on the spoiler tag. And people can react to them with little Waluigi faces, and the one that gets the most Waluigi faces is the topic for the episode. And looks like
Okay.
scrolling through this, the topic, the four is the most Waluigi faces, and there are a couple with multiple. So I went to the one at the very top that had four. This is
Okay.
from November 14th, 2022. So it's only a little bit old.
A little bit. Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. Yeah, gosh. This is from Flightsy, and his topic is discuss the possibility to a sequel to Super Mario Sunshine, except it's in the winter. Basically a Christmas special. What would you want from this game?
Oh man. Okay. I could have a fun time with this one. Okay. So,
Name. I
Super
think name is.
Okay, hear me out. Super Mario Frostbite.
Ooh, Frostbite is good. I was thinking Snowstorm. Frostbite is good.
And it takes place years after Sunshine. Mario and the princess and everyone, they get a call from the mayor of Delfino Plaza that their entire island has been just filled to the brim with like some nasty villain came and covered the entire place in
Any chance these
snow and
nasty villains
ice.
are Viking themes and also Donkey Kong is there and the game is
Oh,
called
I
Donkey
didn't
Kong
know any
Tropical
of this.
Freeze?
Okay. Donkey Kong. Yes. Okay. I did just basically say the plot of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. You're right.
Well, it makes sense because that fits with a
I feel
Sunshine
like
sequel that's
Yeah,
winter
I
themed.
feel like that there's only so much they could do with that plot point. Like, why else would Delfino Plaza or Delfino Island as a whole be covered in snow? Like, I feel like there has to be some sort of upper evil to that.
Yeah,
So yeah, and oh man, now I can just imagine, like, obviously there would be entirely brand new levels to this game, like entirely brand new
yeah,
worlds, but you would also be able to revisit the worlds from the original Mario Sunshine, but with changes. Obviously, there being snow and ice everywhere, but
yeah.
also things are just different from
And all the
the
missions are
last time.
different. And then
Yeah,
that way you can like only have to design half of the levels pretty much.
Yeah, and that way, even people that played the original Sunshine will get a new experience out of it.
Yeah, that's a smart idea. I really like that.
Yeah. What about you?
I wonder.
Oh,
So what if we take? I'll go with my Super Mario Snowstorm idea, even though Frostbite is a better name.
okay.
Uh, what if we go to I don't what's like the opposite of a dolphin? I guess a shark. We go to Isla. It's a
Isle Sharkfino.
legitimate, and it is completely covered by snow for forever. We have the Pianta. They're all like Eskimos, and they have their hoods and build igloos and stuff. It's a snow place.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that, like not being in the same location as the
Yep.
original Sunshine. I could totally see that. And obviously, oh wait, one thing I didn't
Even have
bring up.
a theme park. It's a
One
different
thing
location.
I didn't bring up is the fact that obviously Flood would have to be a crucial part. It can't be a Sunshine sequel if Flood is not a part of it. So, what if he can shoot like ice, like he has like different like little weapons that he can put on, like shoot like icicles or like snowstorm
Ooh,
type thing, like push enemies off the edges by blowing them with like icy mist and
yeah. Like
I feel
his
like
water, like he shoots the water and it immediately turns into like hard blocks of ice that can
oh yeah.
kill enemies.
Yeah, like I feel like you'd be able to still use his water abilities, but I feel like with the snow theming, you would kind of have to have some sort of
Yeah, maybe he
ice
could have like
ability.
his frozen mode, and then you could like have him. You could find a heater like a little bit into the game, and then you can have it like switch from like heated water and like normal jetpack and all the
Oh,
normal
I was
weapons
gonna
to the
say like
frozen thing.
lava or something,
Ooh,
like
yeah, that'd be cool.
have the fire and ice theme.
Yeah, just Shiverburn Galaxy.
Exactly,
I'm
exactly.
perfectly down.
With the is that the galaxy with the figures that just stare at you?
Yeah, the Hell Valley Sky Trees.
Oh yeah, I remember playing Galaxy. Actually, Galaxy 2 was the first game I ever purchased
Yeah.
on launch day. My grandma got it for me on launch day, and I remember being scared like crazy from that.
What are those in the sky?
Because I was the type of kid to look around in like all over a level,
Yeah,
just out of pure curiosity.
and you just see these like shadowy figures.
Yeah, like mom,
Mario,
mom.
Super Mario Frostbite. Boom.
But yeah, that's that. I think
Dated
these are
side.
some pretty good ideas for a potential Sunshine sequel. Now, Nintendo, make it happen.
Can you? We're announcing
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Cut out for a moment.
that would be the wildest 3D Mario announcement that we could
Oh
get.
yeah. Oh yeah. Nintendo. Everyone's expecting an open world 3D Mario. No, you're getting Sunshine 2. Honestly, I would dig it.
I would too. That would be epic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's Mystery Madness. So the two segments done just like that. Easy game. Easy show.
Yeah, I did a lot better. Like I thought I'd be struggling to come up with stuff, but I'm glad I survived it.
No, dude, Mario Frostbite is such a good name for a Frozen themed Mario game.
I know it's the
That's
first thing that came to mind.
Hey, there you go. Somebody
Yeah.
should join an improv troupe or something. Our next segment is Fighter by Fighter. Now, we've been going through every Smash Bros. Character one at a time, and this has been a very controversial tier list because every episode has a different co-host, which means that it is not the same person making the same list for the
Yeah.
entire time. But So something on here seems off or wrong. Blame my co-hosts and not me. That's
Yep,
we'll go with
always.
that.
Just like Kane said in episode 4 of Digital Circus, you can offload the blame to one of your employees.
Like any good war criminal. I
Exactly.
mean, boss.
But yeah,
And yeah,
rank
so
Mega
so
Man.
far the tier list. Give me a second. So far the tier
Oh
list
yeah, sorry.
is Mario is B, DK is C, Link is A, Samus is B, Dark Samus is C, Yoshi is C, Kirby is A, Fox is F, Pikachu is A, Luigi is C, Ness is A, Captain Falcon is A, Jigglypuff is G, Peach is D, Daisy is B, Bowser is A, Ice Climber is C, Sheik is D, Zelda is C, Dr. Mario is C, Pichu is C, Falco is F, Lucina is F, Young Link is S, Ganondorf is C, Mewtwo is B+, Roy is C, Chrom is D, Mr. Game & Watch is D, Meta Knight is B, Pit is C+, Dark Hit is B, Zero Suit Samus is C minus, Wario is C, Snake is B+, Ike is F, Pokemon Trainer is S, Diddy Kong is B minus, Lucas is B minus, Sonic is C+, why is Sonic C plus? Sonic is good. King DDD is A minus. Olimar is B. Lucario is A. Rob is B minus. Waluigi is S plus plus. Toon Link is A plus. Wolf is D. Villager is A. And today we are ranking Mega Man. I miss the days when I could say all of that in one sentence.
My brain just had an aneurysm trying to catch up with that. But you know what? Ranking Mega Man. Okay. Uh oh man, I don't use Mega Man very often.
Neither do I.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Um
I think he's okay. Like he's not a bad character. He's just not a great
no,
character.
he's not bad by any means. Like I have played Steve. I know what true misery feels like. Actually, you know what? Steve is not a bad character. I just hate his recovery.
Steve's recovery sucks.
Like
I always
people,
somehow barely
pe-
miss the edge.
yeah, no, people always think like when I try and use like the little flying recovery he has, people always tell me
Yeah.
it's a skill issue, and I'm like, no, it's just called bad design,
Yeah.
bad
It should just
controls.
work. Please work.
Yeah, yeah. But no, Mega Man. I feel like he would be above average.
Yeah, he wouldn't be a C, but I don't think he would. I think I'm going to put him in B. I think B seems like a fair place for
Yeah,
me.
I think I would probably go B2. Like, yeah, I don't use him very often, but from the times that I have used him, I didn't have an issue with him. There are several characters that I would dread to play that would choose Mega Man over in a heartbeat. So, yeah, I think B is a good placement for that.
Yeah, that seems like a actually good ranking for once.
Yeah, for once.
I mean, like Ness. Where is Ness? One second. Ness. Oh, Ness is A. That's fine. He should be S, but A is fine. Lucas is B minus.
The only reason I hate Ness is because people are so much better at using him than I am, and every time I'm like in an online match and come across a Ness, I just want to leave because I'm just like, no,
I just want to get.
they're just gonna spam PK Thunder like 50,000 times.
Yeah, trap you in a PK fire, hit you with the baseball bat. You can't do anything.
Yep.
Yeah, I think controversial, the most controversial and the funniest one on this list to me is Ike being an F tier.
Wait,
Like
what did Ike do? Why is Ike that bad?
the only
I
two
don't think he's
characters in F tier are Ike and Fox. And
okay.
Fox is an F
I
tier because his name starts with F, and Ike is an
oh
F
god,
tier
that
because
is
he
such
fights for his friends.
a that's a lousy reason to rank. I mean, he's probably not that great to use anyway, but like he's also just like every I feel like everyone uses Fox.
Yeah, he's just basic.
He's just basic. But like I think for the most part we did pretty good on ranking that. Like
Yeah,
could
I
be
think
so
that's
much
fair.
worse.
Unless
Yeah.
somebody's like a Mega Man main, I don't think anybody's gonna get mad at us for putting Mega Man in B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of people getting mad, you want to move on to the next segment, the Wobjects?
The one I'm excited about the most. There's a
We're
lot to
talking
talk about.
Nintendo's 2025.
And their 2025 is gonna kick off really soon here, literally this Thursday because we have Donkey Kong coming out.
I thought you were about to
Which
say because we're gonna have the Switch 2 reveal.
Well, that too. Well, that too. You know. Okay. I
Maybe.
have been so burnt by the Switch 2 talk. Like, honestly, I just want it to end. So I have my hopes up. So like, I'm probably going to get disappointed. Like, that's probably what's going to happen. But
Yeah.
this is the first time since Nintendo themselves, like, officially announced that a new console was coming. This is the first time I have actually felt truly confident it was happening. And that is
I
saying a
keep
lot.
seeing things. I
Wait, go
keep
ahead.
seeing things like people keep making memes like tune in on January 16th at 11 a.m. EST for the Nintendo Switch successor's reveal. Please note that there will not be any mention of the Nintendo Switch successor at this presentation.
Oh, dang. You know Nintendo would pull something like that.
They would do something like that. We are sorry
I,
to announce that the Nintendo Switch 2 has been canceled.
oh, I saw
Everybody go
that
home.
with the red background. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh gosh. But no, I do think we are getting it soon, whether this week or the end of the month. I really don't think in the current position Nintendo is in, they can wait until March. Like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, Nintendo literally, like, allegedly, I have to put it in quotes there, allegedly sent lawyers to the Genki booth at CES 2024 to confront them about the Switch 2 accessories that they were selling. And then what are the odds that they completely backtracked and everything that they were saying? They said they got a Switch 2 off like the Chinese black market, and
They're like, no, no, we didn't. We
they
made this
backtracked all
ourselves.
that information, and that they were basing all of that their 3D models off of leaks. But brother, your 3D model literally contained things that were not leaked until then. Like
Yeah, you leaked
you
more
put
stuff than
things
the actual leaks did.
like the IR. I don't think anyone was really talking about the IR or like the optical sensor on the Joy-Con
Yeah,
before
until
that.
like, oh,
Like the
there's a red light there.
and even like let's say like it was based off the leaks. That would be some really quick turnaround time to create an entire video with like an animated 3D render of a console.
Literally.
Like so, because like things are not adding up, and then we come to find out. I guess there are some reports that the Switch 2 has made it onto the black market.
Yeah, we've seen like leaked images of the
Yeah.
console itself.
So I can see why like Nintendo isn't a company that would move their plans. Like if Nintendo has a set date in mind, they're gonna stick to their guns. Like unless
Agreed.
something abysmal happened to where they had no choice. But I think that Nintendo will reveal it this month. Whether it's tomorrow. I mean, if it gets announced on Thursday, they would have to give us a tweet tomorrow because they're not just gonna
Yeah.
shadow drop it. They're not gonna
Please,
pull
please don't do what you did with the Switch OLED again.
yeah. Well, even then, with the Switch OLED, it's a little bit more understandable because that was a revision to the console, like to the
Yeah,
current Switch. Same with the Switch Lite. The Switch 2 is an entirely new generation, so I'm pretty sure they want as many eyes on that as possible. And
agreed.
we're having a lot of industry whispers. We had Nate the Hate, who originally broke the news that it will be announced this week. He is claiming it will be announced on January 16th and will be hardware focused almost exclusively. So we might be looking at, like, if this is to be believed, again, this is still rumor territory. Probably
Yeah,
not by time this is uploaded, it
it's
will
probably
probably
not
have our
rumor
answers. We'll
territory.
probably have answers by then, but you know, in terms of where we are right now. Um but brain fart. I I've been having too many of those. But yeah, I feel like Nintendo's not just gonna shadow drop it. It's going to be announced ahead of time, and I feel like with all like if it was just one person saying it, then that's one thing. But we have Nate the Hate who
So
broke the
many people.
news. Then
Fioro,
Eurogamer says they heard the same thing. Then VGC said they heard the same thing. Then Pioro hinted at it. Who, keep in mind, Pioro, he got hit by the Nintendo ninjas. Like, his source got taken away for a time. Like, he obviously had some actual connections within Nintendo. So
we don't know if he still does, but
he could have a. I feel like it's if I don't know if it's the same source. I feel like it might be something different.
That'll make sense.
But
like,
like,
he's still going.
Yeah, he's still going. He doesn't have the Pioro name anymore because after he privated his account, after everything came out,
he's become unPioro.
Yeah, it just name is just a bunch of random letters and numbers now because his actual Pioro name got taken by some rando. So so that's funny. But I feel like it just, what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I feel like...
Or there's just more smoke. It's one of the two.
It could be. But, like, even if it doesn't happen, even if we wake up tomorrow morning and there is no announcement whatsoever, I'm still confident that it will be happening next month. Or this month. Early next month at the latest. But keep in mind, Nintendo also has an investor meeting coming up on February 4th.
So it'll probably be before that.
I feel like it could be excused with their last investor meeting back in November. I think early November was their last investor meeting, November 5th, I believe. Like, and even during that presentation or meeting, they announced backwards compatibility for Switch 2. So I feel like, considering that Nintendo themselves set a deadline for themselves by March 31st, I feel like if you don't say anything until even your investor meeting a month before your deadline, like, something is wrong.
It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Not a good look. Your investors are not going to be happy. They're probably tapping their watches, be like, "Come on, hurry up, Nintendo! We're investing in your company. Show us something." So I feel like it's only a matter of time, and I am extremely excited because then we get to talk about the games.
Yeah. That's our January. That's our January. We got the Switch 2 announcement, and we got Donkey Kong, which should come out, get good reviews, and exist.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So, here's a question. Do you think we get one more Switch 1 focused direct in February?
I think that we get a direct in February that is divided half and half, and we get like the first 15 minutes or maybe even 20 minutes are Switch games, and there are a bunch of like third-party games, and maybe like something on Legend Zeta A, maybe something on Metroid Prime if that's just a Switch game, and then the back half will all be new games for Switch 2. Because
I was actually earlier today before the podcast, I was actually thinking about that. And I'm just like, I could see them doing that, like, because even when the Switch came out, for a brief period of time, the first few Nintendo Directs of the Switch generation were divided between 3DS and Switch.
Yeah, like that's when they announced the Luigi's Mansion remake and Samus Returns.
I don't think they're gonna do the same thing. Well, actually, Samus Returns was, I think, announced like a couple months prior. That was at E3, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're right.
But I don't expect them to do another live on stage presentation for that. No. It'll be fully pre-recorded. I don't know if they'll brand it as a direct, because as much as I would love it to be like a kind of a divided thing, like maybe a 50 minute direct, have 15 minutes or so be Switch 1 and the other rest be Switch 2. But I also feel like Nintendo would want the entire showcase to be Switch 2.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, they would open with the Switch 1 games, get rid of like the most boring stuff, quote unquote, first. And then you can like say you can play all of those also on the new console. And then like you could even like, if they have it, like, and it includes upgraded versions for these games.
Yeah. I don't think the whatever presentation Nintendo does though is where we see ZA. I think we see ZA on Pokemon Day.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
In
I
fact,
just want to see it.
yeah, same. And I'm not even as big into Pokemon as like some people are, and I'm super stoked to see it. But we already know that we are like I guess it didn't even really need to be rumored because there's a Pokemon Presents every year on Pokemon Day.
Yeah,
So it
it's
was
gonna
kind of a
happen.
given, but like someone I think data mined a recent like Pokemon Go update or something and found out that there's code that says Pokemon Presents 2025. So
Yep,
Niantic
that's
already confirmed that we are getting one. So
awesome.
and
Jack Pack in
oh, go
chat.
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jack Pack in chat says something interesting. Uh, what if they continue the streak? Good console, good console, etc.
I
But
I really hope not because like I feel like at this point the Switch branding has become so strong, like way stronger than even the Wii. I
yeah,
feel
for
like
sure.
if Nintendo markets it to where people know, because that's one of the big things. Like people will point to the Wii U's name as like the reason it failed, which yeah, it didn't
The
help. The
problem was
Wii,
the marketing.
yeah,
The
it was the
marketing was
marketing.
bad.
First of all, when the Wii was coming out, I vividly remember hardly ever seeing a commercial advertising the Wii U. And every time I did, it was always focused on little kids begging their parents for a Wii U. And like literally, I remember watching like one of their holiday 2013 commercials where they were advertising Mario 3D World and Wind Waker HD. And literally, the entire commercial was these little kids trying to explain to their parents why the
What the
Wii
game
U is different than a Wii.
ouch.
If your marketing department needs to put that into a commercial, you know that you have made a fluke of a product.
Yeah. The
And
problem with the Wii U was
oh,
that
go
it
ahead.
looked too much
Sorry.
like the original.
Oh yeah,
It just looked like the Wii because like
yeah.
they even used the same controllers.
From the
Whereas the Switch 2
moment
has the new controllers, which should
Yeah,
help.
from the moment Nintendo announced the Wii U, it was all about the new controller. It was all about the gamepad. And keep in mind, I'm actually a hard Wii U defender. I think the Wii U, for what it was, had a pretty decent library of games. Now, sure, a good chunk of that library was sequels to 3DS games, but you know, I still loved a lot of the games on the Wii U.
Yeah, and the console itself was not a bad console, nor was the gamepad a bad controller. It just wasn't
Yeah,
marketed well, and it didn't succeed.
yeah, and
And I think in the
oh
last 8 years, Nintendo has learned how to succeed with their marketing. I don't
oh
have
yeah.
any worries with the Switch
Oh, me
2
neither.
telling.
I think Nintendo will try their best to do it. That's why they're most likely going to call it Switch 2 because they just don't want to do that. Like
Yeah,
I've been seeing so many people say, "Oh, it should be called Super Nintendo Switch." Nice callback to the
Super Nintendo,
Super
yeah.
Nintendo. Yeah, but like calling it the Super Switch or the Switch Pro, that seems to me more like an upgrade to the current Switch than a new console. So I don't see them
Yeah,
as much
it
as
was
I would
just
love
random.
it to be called Super Switch. I don't think that's even likely at all.
I agree.
Yeah, but
Anyways, yeah, that
um,
was a tangent, but it's
yeah,
a good
tangent,
tangent
fun
to have.
tangent. But overall for Nintendo's 2025, it's really hard to really pinpoint what's going to happen because you know, besides Donkey Kong and put a potential Switch 2 hardware reveal, there's not really
Yeah,
much. But
we know.
I'm hoping in 2025 we do get our 3D Mario,
Yeah,
Mario Kart. Which do you think will come out first? That's a big question. Do you
that
think
yeah.
Mario Kart's going to be the launch title, or do you think 3D Mario is going to be the launch title?
I think that we're going to have two launch titles and have them be a new 3D Mario Party, like a big player experience, and then a new Animal Crossing with a big focus on multiplayer.
For launch titles?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a bold claim because Nintendo's never launched with an Animal Crossing or Mario Party. But
I
hey,
know,
there's a first time for
but
everything.
if you
And
think about it, what are the two best-selling games on the Switch?
that's true. And has been almost 5 years since New Horizons. So we are getting due for that. But for me personally, I still think that Animal Crossing is like a year 2 title, but that's just me. I would love
I
to be
think that
wrong.
year two will be clogged up with Splatoon and probably a new Smash game.
Yeah, I could see that.
And they
Um,
want with the success of New Horizons, I think we're getting an Animal Crossing year one. That's my big hot take is I think we're getting
oh,
a new Animal Crossing.
oh man, I would love you to be right. You don't know how much I want you to be right on that. But personally, like, I think I can see Mario Kart being a launch title with 3D Mario being the holiday title. Um, I have thought about it a lot because, like, if I'm being honest, I personally, like, as much as I love Mario Kart, and we've been waiting way longer for a new Mario Kart, like over 10 years. Uh, but I feel like 3D Mario just doesn't sell as much as Mario Kart. It sells
Yeah,
well. It sells very
unfortunately.
well, but like Mario Kart is one of the best-selling video games ever made. Like it's sold like over 70 million copies now, like 65,
Exactly.
70 million copies. Yeah, Nintendo knows what they're doing with that. Like more than half of the people that own a Switch own Mario Kart. And I could see them wanting to launch the console with Mario Kart so that they can kind of ensure that success. Like people are going to buy it. um,
Yeah.
Metro
We're
Prime.
definitely getting something Mario at launch because we're
Oh
not
yeah,
getting anything Zelda.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's too soon for that, in my opinion. Um, we just had Tears of the Kingdom,
And
20 back in
Echoes of Wisdom.
2023. Yeah,
And
true.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, that is true. But like, I've heard people throw around Metro Prime 4. I can see that being a launch title, but I don't think it will. I think if anything, it'll be launch window.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it'll come out like a month or so later so that people still have something to play when
yeah,
they're done with their Mario Kart or their Mario or
I
their Animal
I
Crossing.
do think that Metro Prime 2 and 3 will come to Switch this year, like before Prime 4, whether it be as a 2-pack or it each sold separately. But I can see that happening. I played through Prime Remastered last year, and such a
I need to do
phenomenal
that.
game.
It's like top of my list of first party
Dude,
Nintendo games I
it
need to get to.
somehow they made a GameCube game look like a modern Switch game. Like it is hands down one of the best looking games on Switch, and it's a remaster of a game that came out over 20 years ago. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And the fact that Metro Prime 4 looks even better visually is just makes me so excited. And
Yeah.
hopefully there are some Switch 2 enhancements. Um,
Yeah, that game is gonna look beautiful. I
yeah.
guarantee it.
But one launch game, which I feel like it's a lock in, because like even though we know at like a surface level what the gimmick is or what we can expect for the Switch 2, like a more powerful Switch, I feel like there is going to be a gimmick, and it could very well be that optical sensor thing, maybe
Yeah,
mouse
I agree.
controls. But I feel like there's going to be a new game from EPD4, which Nintendo development teams are
Yeah.
they're split into different departments. EPD4 is the team that makes they made Wii
Labo.
Sports, Labo. They do Nintendo Switch Sports, 1-2 Switch. Basically, they
Game Boy
have had
Color.
yeah. Exactly. They have basically launched a Nintendo console every year since the Wii. They've had a game at launch of a Nintendo console every time since the Wii.
I
So
agree.
I feel
And
like it has to
here's
be there.
here's my theory for that. So do you remember that game trial that Nintendo did a few months back where they like had a bunch of people sign up to be in
Oh
this random
yeah.
trial for a game that nobody knew about, and it was like an
hmm
online focused like building game. I think that a version of that will launch with the Switch 2, and it'll be like a built-in app where you can like go into the world and like select games and play through there. So you can play in it, but you can
What if
also
that's
like
what if that's
share
the C button?
and that's what the C buttons is. It takes you to
Like
that.
um now I have actually been predicting that too. I think it would be a good like have your own Nintendo's own little Roblox style MMO.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
it as like a social media platform as well, so you can like
Yeah.
share your screenshots and videos from your game there.
Yeah, I'm sure most Nintendo fans at this point have seen what the playtest is like. Nintendo said don't share anything. It was
It
inevitable
was
that
it
was
was
going to
like
happen.
people were streaming it, man.
Yeah, people were streaming it the day it happened. Like I watched someone stream it. Like, oh my gosh. And it's definitely not going to launch in the state that it was playable in back then
Yeah,
because obviously I'm sure that was like a kind of a prototype beta build of what would eventually become a full
and
game.
obviously they don't want to show off the full game even to people who are
Yeah.
testing it because
Now,
they will leak it.
one thing that I don't know if you saw the leak from today. Another leak, but this is less
I'm
of a
pretty sure
leak.
I think I know which one you're talking about, and I think it was debunked.
The what? Oh, are you talking about the voice chat thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was debunked.
Really? I thought it was data mined.
Because they said that it was data mined from the original Switch, and it was like another Picto chat, but I can't
You know,
find
like
it.
I heard something called Nintendo Campus or whatever.
Yeah, that was the leak.
Oh, really?
I don't know where I saw where it was debunked, but
I'll have to look
maybe I'm
into
wrong.
that. I'll have to look into that. Let's put a pause on that one. But
Yeah,
like, I feel
we'll see.
like I feel like either way, Nintendo should really have actual voice chat on the
Okay,
console.
breaking news really quick. Just this is completely off topic, but Nintendo just tweeted this, and it's very I don't. It's another baffling Nintendo decision. They said we have confirmed the existence of unauthorized services that replace functions such as online play for the Wii U. Please
I
refrain
just
from
saw.
using such services that they may pose unexpected security risks. Which I mean, yeah, that's true. Like, but also, you can't just stop people from playing your games when you don't have a way for people to play your games, and they're
Yeah.
trying to figure out a way to play your games. They want to play Splatoon, like Splatoon 1 online and Mario Maker 1 online.
Yeah,
Anyway,
like
that's
okay, I
Nintendo.
love Nintendo, but some of the corporate decisions they make is questionable to say the least.
Hmm.
Uh, see, love the company for the games, not for their decisions or
Their
their
tactics, yeah,
their tactics. You know.
I agree completely. Anyways, sorry that was off topic, but that's wild to me.
Yeah, that's insane. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about Nintendo's 2025? Like, do you think what other games?
Anything else that would just be launch year that makes sense? I think we could possibly. I don't think actually this would probably be a second year game, but I could definitely see an announcement at least of a new Kirby game
Oh yeah,
in the style of Forgotten Land.
oh yeah. Oh, we are due for a new Kirby game. So that's gonna happen. Um, I think I'm trying to think of any other thing. Yeah, I feel like there are gonna be some games this year that get announced for next year. So, there's one game, and I guess this kind of goes into like the brief thoughts on 2026, which I don't really have much to say for 2026 if I'm being honest, because there's so little that we know. Like we barely even know 2025. So, but I will go into one little thing that I think will be announced this year,
Okay.
but I don't think will be released this year. So next year, well, this year is Mario's 40th anniversary. Next year is Zelda's.
Ooh.
And it has been hinted, it's been rumored, but like even Al Numa himself, like Al Numa, I'm sorry, I love the man, but he knows how to like toy with fans. He has hinted at things in interviews that have led to actual games. Like I remember in an interview he did after Tears of the Kingdom came out, he said, "Oh man, I would love the idea of a Zelda game where you play as Zelda or whatever." We got that years later. I remember
Yeah.
he went up on stage at a Zelda concert and said that would you guys like Skyward Sword HD? Nintendo said, "Oh yeah, that's not happening," and then it was announced shortly after, like a year or two later.
That's funny.
So,
That's funny.
so they have teased Zelda in interviews. And one such thing has happened, but this time with Ocarina of Time. And
Ooh,
I feel like, yes, we did get Ocarina of Time 3D, but that was like, what, 14 years ago? Something like that.
that's
Uh,
wild. That's wild.
and I feel like that game it deserves a proper remake. Like, think of Final Fantasy VII remake, but Ocarina of Time. Like,
Ooh, oh, that would be
enti-
so good.
like same overall plot, but new characters, new story beats. Just expanding the world. And he's been teasing it. Like, I believe there was an interview back in like December of 2023, sometime around there, where the interview was asking like, what are your thoughts about a potential Ocarina of Time remake? Aonuma, who, keep in mind, he has denied things in that are not happening. Like, I remember when asked about the potential of a Zelda maker, he said it's just not going to happen. But when asked about the possibility of a modern Ocarina of Time remake, he just literally laughed. He just chuckled and
He's
said
like,
no comment.
how'd you know? How'd you know?
So he didn't confirm it, but he didn't deny it.
He
So
didn't deny it.
and then I
That's
believe
good.
either in that same interview or the interview that came before it, he was talking about Rauru as a character in Tears of the Kingdom and talked about how fans of Ocarina of Time and other Zelda games may be familiar with that character. So, again, he's kind of toying with us Ocarina of Time fans. So I'm
Yeah,
really
speaking of
hoping
Ocarina of
that.
Time fans, Jack Pack in chat is just, ooh, what? Yeah, wait, no freaking way, please. I'm begging you, that needs to happen. I physically need that in my life. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
So you would be very high for that.
Yeah, I could tell. I'm glad we can share that. But uh yeah, I share that hype as well. It's I feel like they have to do something big for Zelda's 40th anniversary.
Oh
Um,
yeah, speaking of
you know,
anniversaries, sorry, do you have anything else for Zelda before I change
not
the topic?
really. No.
Yeah.
Zelda
This
movie's not
year,
going to happen this year. Zelda movie's
no,
not going to happen
definitely
next
not.
year
It's probably going to be 2027 at least.
if Sony doesn't screw
'Cause-
it up.
Yeah, because 2026 is Mario, so it makes sense.
Oh yeah. Anyway, what we're saying?
Uh, this year is Mario's 40th anniversary, like you said, and with the launch of a new Mario Kart and 3D Mario already, which I guarantee is going to happen. The only thing that they could really do is they could do like another All Stars sport, but I don't really see them doing that. I've seen like new Super All Stars thrown around or stuff like that. I'm like, nah.
Okay,
I could,
so I feel like Galaxy 2 has to happen at some point. Like I still feel like that was such an odd like thing to not
oh
include
yeah.
that. Like,
My
and a
two
lot of
things that I
people.
was gonna say.
Oh yeah,
My two things that I was gonna say is we're gonna get a 3D All Stars, just 3D All Stars re-release for Switch 2, but everything is like enhanced graphically, and Galaxy 2 is on there, and
yeah.
maybe 3D Land,
I was gonna say
and
yeah.
then also we're gonna get a Super Mario Bros. 40, like Super Mario Bros. 35, and it's just the same game but with 40 people now, and
And
that'll also be
please
like a,
don't discontinue it,
and then
Nintendo.
they will discontinue it. That's my
No,
prediction.
please no. I
They just
want
bring
it.
it back every 5 years with
God,
five
don't
extra
even.
players.
You know Nintendo would do something like
They
that.
would. They would is the thing.
Like
Like,
Nintendo
oh,
is
let's
just
bring it back.
such an unpredictable company. But now I do think that besides like this big Switch 2 or potential Switch 2 Mario games, uh, I think that One owners will get something. Like, I feel like they're not going to just be
Yeah.
excluded entirely, and I could see Galaxy 2 being that. And really, the only way I can see Galaxy 2 be released on Switch without it being sold separately, same with 3D Land, is if they just re-release 3D All Stars and like call it Plus or something and
Yeah.
include everything. Who knows? Maybe Nintendo will be nice. They'll probably charge for it, but maybe they'll update the original 3D All Stars so there's just maybe like a small free, or God willing, they'll make it or a free update, but there'll probably be a small fee to upgrade to the Plus version where you get the extra games.
Yeah. It'll be like DLC for the original, or you
Yeah,
can just get it all in one cart.
I would also love an art section.
Mm.
because that's
Dude,
one thing
concept
that was
art for
lacking
Galaxy.
with. Yeah, that
Concept
was.
art for Galaxy would be so cool.
Oh yeah, I love Galaxy's concept art. I feel like that was one odd exclusion from 3D All Stars. Like, yeah, we had like the soundtracks and whatnot, but I wish we got like more. Like, it's kind of a bare bones re-release.
Like what they could have done is they could have had like achievements that are tied to the original game, and when you like do an achievement like, oh, beat all the stars in Gusty Garden Galaxy, and then you unlock concept art for Gusty Garden Galaxy. And then there's more of like an incentive to play. Would have been
Yeah.
really cool.
Um.
Yeah.
But yeah, that really like I feel like this is going to be a very Mario heavy year. But like,
Hmm.
what other Nintendo franchises do you think we'll get for 2025? Do you think we'll get like any other big franchise
Well, I already
happening?
said Animal Crossing.
Well, Animal Crossing for you, but like later in the year.
Hmm. Well, we have again, we have Metroid, we have Mario, we have Animal Crossing. Uh,
Jackpack is talking about Zelda Maker. That's funny.
yeah, I don't think we're getting Zelda Maker. But with the optical sensor, we can use it as a mouse, and we can play Link's crossbow training too.
You
Now with
know,
mouse
to be
controls.
fair though, uh to be fair, there have been times where maybe something didn't work then, but will work now in the future.
This is true.
So I will say that if the right team is assembled for it, I do think a Zelda Maker is more than possible. I don't think you'll be
Yeah,
able to create your own overworld or anything, but like you said, the Link's Awakening had the Dompe's uh challenge or what was it like Dompe's challenge or something where you like
So,
build
so
the
here's the thing. I don't know if you two know
Dungeon
this,
Maker, yeah,
but Echoes of Wisdom was
basically.
originally Grezzo making their own dungeon maker,
Yep.
and like they designed it so that, oh yeah, the echo mechanic is like you can place things down for the dungeon with the tri-rod,
Yeah,
and
and you originally played as Link.
yeah, and Aonuma liked it so much that he's like, why don't just make a whole game of this? Doesn't need
Yeah.
to be a dungeon maker.
Yeah, and it's funny because the main reason why we went from playing as Link to Zelda is because like Zelda has, you know, more like magic based abilities and whatnot. Link, like even though the echo mechanic was already implemented during the early stages, like I believe it was said that they just thought it would be kind of like it would make no sense if you have a sword. Why would you use echoes if you just can swing your
Yeah,
sword everywhere?
it makes
So
sense. Yeah, basically all that to say, I don't think we're getting a dungeon maker.
yeah, at least any time in the near future. But if that mouse feature is a thing, Mario Maker 3 is gonna go so hard.
So hard. Or Mario Paint the sequel.
Oh yeah, which is funny because Mario Maker actually started development as like a successor to Mario Paint.
Yeah, and
Uh,
there we
it,
go.
it, which is funny because even I remember in the original like reveal trailer for Mario Maker before they added the Super in the title, the font was just straight up the Mario Paint font.
Yeah, it literally was.
Yeah, like I am like it's funny looking back on it because like a lot of people during the Switch generation are like younger Nintendo fans, so a lot of people didn't like grow up during the Wii U, like the Wii U era. So it's funny looking back at some of like Nintendo's old presentations and kind of looking
And
back what
seeing
they
how
did.
unsmooth they are compared to now.
Yeah, honestly though, I will say I feel like Nintendo like 10 years ago had more fun, like more energy.
That's true. They need to
Like
do a better because they've leaned hard into the corporate side. They need to balance the fun of the corporate together.
yeah, like it's not to say that they haven't done anything fun wacky in the last like 7 8 years since the Switch launched, but we're never gonna have another moment of like freaking uh Iwata
Puppets.
being like wearing Luigi hat with like the vacuum cleaner, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like I feel like that generation of Nintendo is just unfortunately gone. Like I feel like Iwata's Nintendo was just like a
Yeah.
very fun Nintendo. But
And
like
it's been
yeah.
less fun in the actual company, but the games themselves
Oh yeah.
continue that spirit of fun.
Oh yeah, the games themselves have been stellar. Like, yeah, not every game Nintendo releases is a home run. I mean, we talked about
Yeah.
some of their lesser quality games earlier in the podcast, but
Yeah.
Nintendo is still a company that has consistently put out more quality content than lesser quality. So
Agreed. I'm gonna go through three more games that have a chance of being able to see this launch year, really quickly. And I think that those three would either be a new ARMS game, a new Nintendo Switch
oh,
Sports game,
I would
or a
love
new
that.
Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh
I
man,
think we're getting
Arms
something motion
2,
control.
Arms 2. Give us the sequel we've all wanted, Legs.
Please, I need to be able to kick
God,
things at
I don't know if
maximum
you were
velocity.
I don't know if you were ever an Etika fan.
I don't think I've
Like,
heard the name.
oh really? Okay, so uh Etika was like a big Nintendo YouTuber. Like he did live streams. He unfortunately passed away from, something I don't want to say on
Oh,
camera
yeah, makes sense.
back in 2019. And I remember when ARMS came out, he actually got shirts commissioned. Like he started selling shirts that said Legs, and it was just a Min Min's legs. If you guys know the character Min Min, it was just Min Min's legs.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, man, this is a sequel we need. But that's every time I think of like an ARMS sequel, I'm just like, please call it Legs. Do the funny Nintendo. But no, ARMS sequel would go so hard. Like ARMS is a good
Yeah.
game. Like a little light in content, but ARMS was so fun.
Just do ARMS, but with more characters and a bigger and more like cinematic story mode.
I was gonna say that's the one thing I would want improved heavily is the campaign. Um, and that like I think it was like a thing in the original where you had to like play the campaign as every single character, and I'm like, no, thank you.
No, I'm good. But it's like such an interesting world and interesting characters that like
Yeah,
they could definitely pull something really cool together, like a Splatoon campaign.
yeah, it's
That
so
would
weird that besides like Smash Bros, Nintendo hasn't really done with that anything with ARMS.
yeah, and
Um,
it didn't sell badly either. Like it sold like 2, maybe even 3 million copies, I
yeah,
think. For a
that's
new IP,
actually
like that's solid.
yeah, I was gonna say that's for a new IP releasing 3 months after the console came out when they was still building an
Three
install
months after
base.
Breath of the Wild. 3 months after
Okay,
Breath of the Wild.
okay. You know what? I will say that's probably gonna happen, and that's only become because I don't know if you remember the leaker Midori.
I've heard the name.
Uh, Before they were outed as faking being a Japanese woman with like broken English just
That's right.
to yeah, like they're just pretending so that they could be more, believable or whatever. But
Yeah.
that person seems to have actually had real information, and I guess at one point Nintendo was working on a title with the code name, I think U dash King dash O or something, which I believe U dash King was Breath the Wild's codename, and
Oh.
the code name for the Switch 2 has already been confirmed to be Ounce.
Oh, you're right.
So that's where the O comes from.
Yeah.
And so people think that it's getting remastered, which, I could take it or leave it. As much as I love Breath of the Wild, I feel like that could just benefit from getting an upgrade on Switch. Like
Yeah.
even
Like
if you have to pay like $10-15 to
yeah.
upgrade to a Switch
Play
2
10
version.
bucks, you have a better version of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Not like at the
PlayStation
same
does
price,
it.
but you
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Just do a PlayStation.
people are gonna complain about having to pay, but PlayStation does it.
Yeah.
Like, sure, so I'm sure some games might be free, like smaller budget games will probably get free updates, but like for
Big
something like
things. It's
your
like
Mario,
I tell
Zelda,
people when they
Xenoblade,
oh yeah, we're just gonna release Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom remastered at the $70 price point,
please
and
no.
then but,
Oh
but
man,
then people who haven't played them can buy that version, but
yeah,
also you can upgrade.
yeah.
So like
Which,
do what PlayStation does.
speaking of $70, one of the last things I'll say is like I'm very confident that most first party Nintendo titles are going to be $70 now.
Yep, I agree.
I don't think it'll
Gonna
be
happen.
like I think like Nintendo will at the very least stick to their game by game basis. Where I feel like the big titles like your big 3D Mario, your Zelda, your Pokemon, those are going to be $70. But smaller budget titles are probably going to range from 50 to 60 still.
Okay.
That's my theory
I
on
agree
that.
with that. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Then you
like
have
I
your
mean, it doesn't
like your
happen.
WarioWares
Yeah, it
and
doesn't happen very often, but like we did get like just last year Metro Prime remastered for $40, which
that's true. It's such a steal. It's such a
yeah,
steal.
it blows my mind that we went from one of the best remasters only costing
40
40 to Donkey Kong Country Returns HD
and
costing
Luigi's
60
Mansion 2
and
HD
Luigi's
costing
Mansion 2
50.
HD. Yeah, so it's a bitter pill to swallow, but you know,
Yeah, it's because one will sell better. Because like Luigi's Mansion 2 HD has outsold Thousand Year Door, which is ridiculous.
it that pains me to see that, like honestly. Which I hope Nintendo doesn't look at that and be like, "Oh, let's keep to the old way of doing Paper Mario." I hope
Yeah.
that's not what happens.
Yeah, also Link's Awakening could maybe get a remaster Echoes of Wisdom. I don't think that they would do remastered versions for all of them, like especially stuff like Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom, but like Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and Splatoon
Yeah,
3, like
because I feel like if they were gonna remaster all of their big Switch games, like I feel like there's no point. There's just too
yeah,
many. Just release
it's because
updates. Like maybe
unlike PlayStation,
remaster
they
a pick.
actually have like a bunch of really big first party games every
Yeah,
year, so it would take too long.
yeah. I feel like the big titles. Like there are certain Switch games that I think could warrant for full price remasters, but there's other games that, like, why? Like I'll actually be salty if I get to Xenoblade 3 or Xenoblade Chronicles X at some point, and now I have to pay $70 for a freaking remaster of it on Switch 2.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm hoping, and it's being rumored that, as with everything regarding the Switch 2, that there will be updates. But it is
yeah.
Nintendo, and Nintendo likes to do things
Oh,
their own way.
who
So
knows?
who
Yep,
knows really?
that's our thoughts on Nintendo's 2025. Who knows?
Yep. So, uh, is there anything else you really wanted to dive into?
No, I think we're good here. I think we delivered a solid
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. Man, that went for longer than I expected. It's already
Yeah.
8:25.
No.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
gosh.
you know what? I had a
Yeah, fun.
very good time being here.
Yeah, good discussion
Yeah.
for sure.
More Zelda. No, we're not done.
No
Honestly,
way.
besides what we talked about, there's not really much Zelda I can really predict. I feel like
Yeah.
maybe when we get closer to the end of this year, it's going to be easier to predict what's going to happen next year. And I do think Zelda will have a big presence in 2026 because Nintendo, unfortunately, didn't really do much for the 35th anniversary for Zelda.
Yeah.
They
So it
released the
makes
Game
sense
and
that they do
Watch.
more.
They released the Game and Watch, which I actually have right behind me
That's
on
awesome.
display.
I want one of
But
those. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I think Inferno, you're you can go check Inferno out on Inferno YouTube or Inferno YT rather, uh, to see all of his Murder Drones content, and you can check out Dreamlock and Murder Drones, the Digital Circus and Glitch and indie animation in general, and then you can go check out Dreamlock for funny Nintendo video game playthroughs. That's your things. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Uh, and also, if you want to hear more discussions with me and Inferno, check out Glitchcast because that's probably going to happen at some point soon, eventually.
Oh yeah, I'm also excited for that.
That's going to be a blast.
Oh
And
yeah.
with that, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we go off the wall.
Yep. See you all next time. Thanks for having me.